We continue where we left off with Big Ambitions. For those unfamiliar with Big Ambitions, this is a game that, like I said earlier, it's kind of a serial entrepreneur game where you are plunked down in Manhattan. You're given a couple $1,000s by your Uncle Fred, who then also hooks you up with a car, and also hooks you up with a loan, and also hooks you up with all the support you could possibly need. But you're a self-made person, don't you worry. It doesn't get into that, but basically helps you out. And we have finished all of the main story stuff, because this is early access. It does come out in 1.0 in August. And what we're working on right now is, in this game, there are rivals. Let me go ahead and get our music going. In this game, there are rivals. So if we look at what we've got going on, I have kind of my business empire. So we're going to go ahead and hide... I'll leave it on. So all these different buildings that you see marked on the map here, other than like these railways or the subway here, all of these different buildings that are flagged here, like that's a theater I own. I've got a clothing store over there. I should have another clothing store down here. I've got a bunch of stuff over here between a bunch of factories and all that. I got a software development company over there, a clothing store, an electronics store that we just got up and running. We're working on a jewelry store, a couple of hair salons. Most of these offices I've actually bought up with the intent on moving into them with something. I don't have anything in them quite yet, though. But what we're doing is, you notice this area that's highlighted in green? This is the garment district of Manhattan. And this becomes relevant because there's rivals. There's other business owners here that you have to worry about that will try and compete with you. And most of them you don't care about, except these four near the top. These four near the top are voice acted, and the ones that have the punching glove here are people that are considered my rivals. And they will try to undermine your business because you're competing with them, and just cause what grief they can. Now, in this particular case, we are going after Ingrid, who happens to be operating in the garment district. And she started out where she was making about $1.5 million a week. We've knocked her down till she's just a bit below 1.2 million, and we're continuing to basically go after her business. It's kind of one of those things that once you start making enough money, the next move there is the rivals will kind of come after you after a while. And so now it becomes personal. And it does look like you closed a business. What business did you close? But with all that, we are running a ton of businesses, but you get the idea. Is you start getting more and more businesses and all that stuff. So like Threads or Else is in her territory. No, that's a lie. It's a Apparel or Else is in her territory. So what I'm doing right now is I am going in here. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons, don't mind me. I just want to make sure at all times that I am the cheapest one in that neighborhood that she's operating with anything I'm competing with her. So yeah, so I've got the cheapest value on all of the apparel so that I'm undercutting her business there. And then we can also go in here. We have the electronics store, which will be one of my more profitable stores, Gadgets or Else. And we can go into you and make sure we are the cheapest on all of these. Because again, as long as we're undercutting her prices, we're going to slowly drive away her customers to me. And what else do we have? Right, we're in the progress of getting Gems or Else opened. What were we waiting on? Was it the factory I think we were getting ready to set up on? Or did he already have the factory set up? We can check that easy enough. We can go here. Gem cutters. Okay, so we do not have the factory set up. All right, cool. So we were getting the factory stuff in place. I think that was arriving today in game for $1 million. We can check our contacts here real fast. Oh, okay. We couldn't store all the expensive fabric boxes in Manufacturer Else. Please make sure there's available pallet shelves for the next delivery. Okay. So I need to go in there and get a couple more shelves in here. So let's go to Essential Appliances, do that. We're outside of business hours. I gotta wait till 10. But yeah, so we're working on expanding that. The next thing she's got is she's got a jewelry store. And so we have bought up a floundering flower business. We've gutted the building, and we've set it up for jewelry. but we're going to be manufacturing our own jewelry to sell there, and we're just kind of waiting for that to get together. I am kind of pushing my limits money-wise, but I believe we have this configured so at 10 a.m. today, I'm going to get the equipment into Gem Cutters or else. To do that, I also need to go and get more shelves for my place that is making all of my my clothing, because I can't store the capacity that I need to. Okay, so we didn't get the phone call that it arrived. Alright, so with that, in that case, we're going to go here to the factory supply, call them. I'm suddenly trying to... Oh yeah, it was for the jewelry. We need a jewelry workstation, so it's a laser cutting, polishing machine, and consumer goods system there. Wait, did we already order our... Okay, we've already got our supplies in here. That's good news. That's at least one thing that's helpful. Alright, so we can go here, call here. Select address, Gem Cutters or else. I want the delivery today. And I need 2 laser cutters, 2 polishing machines, and 2 consumer good machines. Which is $1 million. I'm going to order that in here. And now to be able to get ourselves configured for this. One thing we will do is once I get that set up, I'm leaving before we hire any factory workers. One unfortunate bug this game does have is there are none of these settings under audio that lower the volume of your manufacturing machines. So even if you turn the global volume down to 0, they still blast that sound, and it is a very unpleasant sound. The game does have a couple of bugs related to sound settings, such as there is a sound setting here for radio. You'll notice it's turned down to none. When you put down speakers, it doesn't care. But like otherwise, the game's got a lot of really fun, cool stuff going on, but it does have audio issues. So I've got about 3 minutes till that delivery shows up. So what I'm going to do while that's happening really fast is my billboard might show up here. I'm going to quickly pop into the restroom really quickly because we got a couple more minutes till it arrives. So I'm going to use the restroom, grab myself some more drink, and I'll be right back. But thank you again for tuning in. I'll be right back. Okay, but one cool thing this game has that they don't market very well, let's say it never shows up when he wants it to, it's sad. Yeah, so one thing that this game has that's pretty cool is you'll notice that billboard there that's watch or else, that's just kind of a default graphic. So the game, if you go into the file system, you can actually just swap the images for your business to make custom images for all of your businesses. And it's a really slick thing that is well implemented and all that. Except it doesn't have a way to do it in-game. And it's really one of those things that for as cool as it is to go around town and just see like your random businesses being marketed on the billboards, there's not an in-game way to do that. And they do have where you can make some like honestly kind of boring logos that are just like a flower with your stuff there. It's better than nothing. But like you could do some way cooler stuff. It's one thing I think they could do a lot with. Is it? There it goes. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, so that's like a custom JPEG I did for the company, which is Shop Here or Else is our company in game. So you can do that, and you can have every single one of your individual shops have their own logo. So as you run around town, you can see all your different businesses marketed. It's really cool stuff. But again, you have to go to the save folder, and inside the save folder, every business has their own folder that literally is just 3 images in it, and you just have to go in and plunk down the images that you've made with it. All right. Because I could see people taking the time, you know, setting up all their different businesses and giving them all their own custom art and all that stuff. And so what I'm doing here real fast is when you're setting up manufacturing, it's pretty much all where you've got the main kind of thing. Is it a consumer good? Is it food? Is it whatever? And that's the center part of the machine. And then you add different things on the sides of the machine that make it a different type of machine. So if I, for example, put like a laser thing and a kiln on it, that would then make an electrical goods system versus what we've set up here is for gem cutting. So then I can walk up to this thing and configure it. Okay, you're going to be a jewelry workstation, and you are going to make cheap jewelry. And you are going to be a jewelry workstation, and you are going to make expensive jewelry. And I need to finagle you a little bit so the workers can get to it. Okay, so this room is going to be fully functional very soon. So what I need to do is I need to hire people in there to work. So we're looking for factory workers, which I don't have on here. So let's go to our headhunter that I've got here. And we're going to say, hey, I want you to look for factory workers. I don't want part-timers, and I don't want anyone who wants a complicated schedule. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. Meanwhile, the other thing I'm going to need to do is if I can have you look for delivery drivers. All right, we're going to have you look for delivery drivers that are at least at like 50% trained. I don't like doing that normally because if you start at the bottom, they end up getting paid way less as they get raises versus if you jump them way higher. But the delivery drivers literally can't do the deliveries if you don't have them, you know, far enough up. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is for right now, we're going to go and we're going to grab the phone. No, we're not, because it basically broke. I know I've got a couple of these places that have a spare vehicle that's not currently in use. Okay, so Deliveries or Else has a spare vehicle that's not currently in use. So I'm going to go down there. And we're going to grab the van. Oop. Actually, I hit back in. And then we're going to set our waypoint. Yeah, gem cutters or else. Set our waypoint over here, and we're going to move this van up there. That way I have a delivery van available. I'm also going to need another logistics person to do all this stuff. And if you're going, there's so much going on here I don't understand. We are in the late game. The game does a really good job of, like, when you first start, they go, okay, just, like, work at the grocery store and deliver, you know, or deliver a couple of goods. You know, very simply just, you know, kind of do the very basic. Cool, you've done that. All right, well, instead of doing that, because you're just making someone else money instead of yourself money, open your own store. So go ahead and you're just going to get that all going. And so they'll have you open, like, the absolute tiniest little retail store where you've got, like, one shelf of goods, a cash register, and then, like, a mop. And then from there, they'll be like, cool, you got that basic stuff done. Awesome. Now, that's kind of boring. Go ahead and make your place look nice. Okay, go ahead and, see what your customers are complaining about and get that set up. Okay, well, it's really annoying to have to, like, load up your boxes and drive to your store yourself and restock the shelves yourself. So let's get some employees and then start getting a delivery vehicle set up. Okay, cool, you got that set up. Well, now let's set up an HR department so now you don't have to deal with a bunch of this stuff. And you get the idea. So it's kind of one of those things that it starts very simple and it just adds a little and it adds a little and it adds a little until you got a lot of stuff going on. Alright, so we've got all that going. So we need to go here, candidates. So we want factory workers. Which should... Oh, well, we're not going to get any more of those today. So not a whole lot for me to do, so we're going to go ahead and grab our 25 kilogram kettlebell. And we're going to spend a solid hour holding that out. And then we're going to follow that up by taking a 25 kilogram kettlebell and holding it out for another solid hour. And then going to sleep because, we probably just destroyed our arms. And then we'll start our day and have ourselves a snack. Alright, so I got to do some grocery shopping. We're getting low on groceries. But then the hope is we'll get our factory workers in. And so with our factory workers, that should be that all wired up. I still will need a logistics person to facilitate telling them where to deliver what. We will need our driver. And then I'll need to get my actual staff for the jewelers. I'll have to double check. I might actually already have the staff for the jewelry store. And they're just not working yet because I don't have goods for them to sell. Okay. We're just doing some quick grocery shopping for ourselves. Yeah, and that's our electronics store there. They're selling all sorts of gadgets. Now, one of the things that happens is as our rivals get pissed off at us, they will fight back. And I got a couple of tools I'll do to do that. Sometimes what they will do is they will go to your employees and they will offer them something like being like, hey, if you come to work for me, we're going to give you the fanciest chair. And so then your employee will contact you and be like, hey, I just got contacted. If you don't give me a fancy chair, I'm going to go to those other people. Or they'll, demand a raise or whatever. So they'll basically make it more annoying to keep some of your staff on board and try and hire them out from underneath you. Another thing is they'll kind of deliberately undercut your prices in businesses that you depend on to cause you some grief. Okay, so let's assume for this schedule, we'll start with 6 factory workers. So let's hire and assign our candidates to gem cutters. And then go here, gem cutters or else, and we'll automatically fill out the schedule. We work them 24/7, 7 days a week. But they'll only work like 40 hours per... Well, I think they'll go up to 50 before they get upset as full-timers. But we grabbed, I think it was 5 people, and I want to see how much the week gets done. Alright, so I'm thinking one more... Yeah, one more factory worker should fill out that schedule. Maybe 2. So let's grab you. I'm going to assign you to gem cutters. And these are all things that, like, once you set them up, you're just good. Like, barring again, the rival screwing with stuff and everything, your business is set up, it's in good order. Okay, so we still don't have a full schedule, so I am going to need to bring on probably one more. And these are things you can eventually get to the point where you're just kind of accustomed to it. They're like, okay, I set this place up, I got 4 machines, alright, I need 12 staff, yada yada. I played on and off for a while, and so I do tend to forget the exact amounts. Okay. Cool, so we're all set here. So that means we're done with factory workers for the time being. Oh, and this is the point where it is now opened. Yep, so our jewelry workstations are now officially making jewelry. Alright, so the next things I need to do is go to our headhunters here. So you are looking for factory workers. We're going to stop looking for factory workers. I need you to look for a logistics manager. We're going to tell them we don't want people who've got complicated demands for their work. So we'll just bring you on board. Meanwhile, let's take a quick peek here real fast. And check on all this stuff. So we're going to have our vehicle here. Deliveries or else. And we're going to go in here. Yeah, you've got paper bags. I actually need to approach this from the logistics side. So deliveries or else. That I want to go and add a new location that we're going to go to. We are going to go to gems or else. And I don't know at all what's an appropriate amount to have them deliver. So I'll try 2,000 paper bags and 1,000, well actually probably 500. 500 of each type of jewelry. And we'll start there and see how that turns out. We don't have those things in stock yet, so that's not going to do anything yet. The next move I need to do, before I forget, is I'm going to go over here. And I got a couple of things I want to try and knock out. Because we were warned that one of my stores one of my warehouses didn't have enough shelf space. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that real fast. Normally I like to order the stuff in at this stage in the game because then they just deliver it for me. But if I do that, I have to wait till tomorrow. And I'd rather just get this done. I can grab 8 pallet shelves. Okay. So, let's go ahead and... It wasn't you. It was you. Now, when we get over to this manufacturing place, I am going to mute the game audio in OBS, because as I mentioned, this game doesn't respect the sound settings when it comes to the manufacturing stuff, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people like to try and relax in the evenings to my stream, and that cacophony is not something they need to be subjected to. So you've lost game audio, and here we go. Ah, it's so terrible. It's like a very squealy sound. And I get a momentary break every single time I place one of these, because it does pause the audio for just a couple seconds while I'm moving these. And this is our clothing factory. Alright. Get me the hell out of this building. Alright. And you can have audio back. Okay. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go up this way. I'm going to grab another 8 pallets. Oh, this is deliveries or else. This is the one we're going to be stocking up. Yeah, let's get ourselves 8 more pallets. That's kind of pushing on its limits. It's a big bummer when suddenly your stores don't have merchandise because they just your warehouse didn't have the shelf space to accommodate it. So I can go back up here to Anderson, grab another batch, and I do need to be careful. We are spending a very, very significant amount of money. How far am I away from Anderson's? Oh, I think Anderson's is up here, right? Yeah. And that's just I remember where it's at. They do have lots of filters on the map, so if you're trying to find your way around and be like, okay, where could I find the appliances? Boom. Okay, well, that just highlighted. You know, where's the car dealership? Boom. Okay, there's a car dealership over there. Oh, where's the bank? Boom. Well, there's a bank over there. The casino isn't going to show because the casino's way down there. you know, clinic, hospital, all that. So you get the idea. You do have all those things. It's just a matter of you would go and click on all that. And they do stuff like they have lots of quality of life. You can click on the building, go, what does this building sell? All of that remotely. It used to be you had to visit all the stores and manually do everything, like I'm kind of doing right now. But you can genuinely, if you don't want to deal with that, you can make a blueprint of a business and just be like, just set it up for me. And you'll still have to hire the staff and everything, but as far as like the actual building and laying out and everything and getting the shopping, they'll take care of it. They do charge you a lot more to do that in game than you would otherwise, but it is kind of one of those things that when you're late game and you're making enough money, dropping an extra 100,000 to just get it done is well worth it. But in this particular case, we've got everything 90-something% done. I'm just getting those last kind of details set up here. That basically I should just need the delivery driver and the logistics agent. And then with that, our jewelry store should pop online the next day. So once I get these shelves dropped off, we'll try and get that all set up. Because then what will happen is our jewelry factory will produce the jewelries, deliver them to this warehouse, and then this warehouse will deliver them to the individual stores where they're needed. Because currently, this warehouse kind of acts as the primary distribution point for a lot of my stores. Eventually, this warehouse won't be able to handle all the deliveries, and then I will need to get another warehouse for this. I've actually got a couple of warehouses at this stage. Alright, so let's go ahead and park our vehicle. And now we're looking at the individuals they've got on the list. So we want a logistics person. Cool. We're going to send them to our secondary headquarters. Oh, and you can negotiate to try and lower their wages and all that. It is actually worth doing, but I'm also very lazy. Okay, the next thing I need is a delivery driver. And this one's going to go to Gem Cutters or else. We're going to hire you there. And so from here, what I want to do is go to my employees. Sorry, my businesses. Go to Gem Cutters or else. Grab you, drivers, sign you to this vehicle. So you're all set up and good to go. You don't have to set a schedule for your driver. They're just assumed to do their delivery. Hire and schedule at least 5 delivery drivers. Nice. And then from here, I'm going to want to go to my businesses. I've got 2 headquarters buildings now. So for this one, I'm going to want to go to the schedule, assign my new logistics person. So we're down to 2 spare desks before else expand that. We'll need to add another person here. So that's our new logistics person. We'll assign them to Gem Cutters or else. And we will tell them to deliver to deliveries or else. And I only want to get the fancy jewelry. We'll say have 2,000 of each type of thing there. And that's it, because all the rest are materials for making it. Alright, so that should wire up everything. Now, I have no idea if I'm making remotely enough jewelry or not to sell to keep our store running. I'm suspecting I'll need another set of machines, which will cost me another $1 million. But with that said, I should be able to open the store tomorrow. Let me double check to make sure the store actually has staff. Yep, so it's fully staffed. So literally what happens is tomorrow the delivery should go to where they need to go, that the inventory arrives at the store, we open it up, and then at that we're officially competing with Ingrid on her next most profitable business. And very quickly we're just taking away all of her different business lines, and we're just going to keep on knocking her down. And as we start driving down her businesses and undercutting her prices, she'll eventually close businesses that aren't making it. And one of the key things we want to do is when she vacates an expensive area, we want to buy that lot if we can so that she can't take it over with a different business to be profitable. We want to force her into the really small areas. And if you're wondering, it's like, why are we so being terrible to Ingrid? It's because I opened a business and then she was like, stay in your lane. And so now we're just not going to respect that. And so with this, we can now go to our gem store. Gems or else. And we're going to open you. It needs marketing, but everything else is set up properly. So marketing, let's try going for a small billboard and see how that does. It's $500 a day for a small billboard. Because if you look at the businesses, we go back to gems or else, and you look here, you've got your traffic index. That's just people walking around. And then you got your marketing index. And it's not exactly additive to them, but it does have a boost here that if you get that high enough, you'll get more foot traffic. And so you want to get that to 100%. So the small billboard, probably not going to be enough by itself. I'm not sure I want to go all the way up to a large billboard. Let's try throwing on a large internet campaign as well and see where that lands us. Because we're basically trying to get it to 100% as inexpensively as possible, or very close to 100%, like 99, 98% would also be totally acceptable. 96% is good enough for me. All right, so with that said, what messages do we have? We have an employee. Your request for 5 days a week has not been met. Marla Williams has promised to provide me if I go work for there. You've got, let's see, I will wait 72 hours to see if anything changes. Otherwise, I'm leaving for watch or else. I'm not dealing with that. This person can go stick it because this is we took the theater from Ingrid. We bought it out from underneath her. And this is a worker that she had underneath them, and they just got complicated things. So I'm just gonna let them quit, and we'll just replace them. All right. So deliveries or else didn't have enough cheap jewelry. We didn't have enough electronics made. We didn't have enough expensive jewelry. We didn't have enough clothing made. Basically, none of my manufacturing is keeping up. I've also noticed we are running out of jewelry very quickly. So that is a problem. It's also a problem I do not have a quick solution for. But let's take a quick look at our gem cutters, make sure they have the inventory. Yeah, so these are still just operating. I'm probably just going to need a second set of machines hooked up here. And then our factory workers also need training. Now, before I forget, because I forgot to set up HR, we can put people under HR, and HR will work on training them, make sure they have life insurance or health insurance or whatever, because if you don't offer that, some people quit because you don't give it to them. But it does mean that today, our jewelry store is going to do very poorly because I've got one shelf that's almost out of inventory, and the other shelves are out of inventory, and there's no farther inventory in the building. So, it's going to be an open jewelry store with no jewelry to sell. Okay, but today, it's got inventory again. I lied. Some of it's got inventory. We're definitely going to need to scale that up. Unfortunately, I don't want to do that too soon. We're going to have to pay out a bunch of money in about 3 days to get all my stuff imported. There's a happiness mechanic as well. Generally speaking, you can kind of front load it. Because this is certainly how happiness works in real life. You get a little bit of happiness for walking in the park, but you can just pre-game your happiness and just really go in there, just spend multiple days just standing in the park, and just get all that front-loaded happiness, so that way you're locked in for happiness for the next 48 days. You know, and then you're just solid. Instead of having to routinely go by and handle that. Oh, also, we're going to grab a glizzy. Not because we needed it, but we're in New York and there was a glizzy, and that's just what happens. Yeah, so we're just gonna go and sit in Central Park. And we're just gonna have a nice, casual 12 hours straight that we're just going to sit in the park.
Really? Someone thinks they can compete with my prices? Da hast du dich aber wirklich geschnitten, mein Schatz. I will slash my prices and knock your profit margins down, so customers are going to flock to me. Also mach dich bereit, because things are about to get real tough, mein Liebes.
Alright. So we just got a warning that she is going to do an attack where she's going to try to undercut our prices to hurt our business. Little does she realize that's actually literally playing into my hands. Because I'm trying to drive her into cutting her prices so much that it puts her out of business. And that's what we got going on here. So let's see. So that was fine. Let's check her other place. Ah, so yeah, there we go. So this is where she's trying to go under our market. She cut her prices way below that. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to cut just under her prices, because there's only so low that she's willing to go. Versus us as people who are completely antagonistic towards her, and just really don't care how much we burn it all to the ground. We're just going to go ahead and literally sell under the value in the area. Because our goal isn't to manage to squeeze her out of business just a little bit. We're willing to scorched earth to get rid of her. Because when she's gone as a competitor, then that's just not a problem anymore. Alright. Basically, part of the thing that works out with this is she only operates primarily here. So if we can absorb the loss in this area if she wants to keep undercutting us, where because she's mostly only operating in that one district, even if we're like basically kind of in a mutually assured destruction and how much we're underpricing everything, a race to the bottom, it doesn't matter because my other districts are fine. And so we can just absorb the loss using our other districts until she is no longer a credible threat. Okay, and we're still waiting on all that. We'll go ahead and slam out some more kettleball. And go to sleep. And what we're going to want to check is each day to see if she keeps undercutting us more. And see what we could do about that. Alright, what is going on here? Okay, so the classic clothing is not getting in. The electronics is not there. Yeah, so not enough inventory for not enough inventory to get inventory of gem cutters or else to deliver to deliveries and whatever. Yeah, so we're still waiting on all that. Okay. That's definitely a problem. Let's go take a peek at our businesses real fast and see where we're at. So gem cutters or else is still manufacturing just fine for the time being. Not very fast. It's making about 34 jewelry per hour with 24 hours. So that's like 120 or so. And that's like 240. So it's not a lot of supplies. It does worry me. What? You say it's in stock, yet the shelves are empty. What's going on here? This is telling me it's not in stock, but then it's also saying it's in stock. Now, because I did the auto setup on this, it might have speakers blaring, so I'm going to go ahead and mute the audio right when we get in here, because again, these are things that don't respect your sound settings, unfortunately. But I don't want to blast everyone's eardrums out. So I'm going to go over here and get this set up. And these are just a couple of things, like, because this is the first business in this area that I've used the blueprint where I just took someone else's blueprint and I just slapped it on real fast. Because I couldn't be bothered. Alright, so you've lost game sound for a minute. Okay. So good news is, I must have already gone in here and done this. Okay, so what I'm learning here is the actual problem is I'm not having them deliver enough inventory. So let's go here, factories, gem cutters or else. Oh wait, that's not the one I need. I need to go to this one, deliveries or else, and where I told them to send 500 jewelry, it's not enough. Send 1,000. Because it actually looks like we got plenty in stock back there. Get this out of here. Doesn't do anything. It's also a curiosity that they're supposedly getting checked out, but I don't physically see anyone on the other side of that register. And just making sure I'm not losing my mind, and that there actually is people here working at. So we have the schedule. Yes, there are people scheduled to be at the register. They are there. Oh, the registers are facing the wrong way. Well, I hate that. We just won't look directly at it. It's fine. Like I said, that was one I just snagged the blueprint and didn't do it myself. And it shows. Alright. Okay. So that means you just need to deliver more. I've got all my shelves full. It's just there's too many shelves for the amount of inventory I'm putting there. And that's because I used someone else's blueprint, and I now regret that. Because that's the only one we've used someone else's blueprint that I could think of this whole run. All the other ones, I've used it where I've made a place and then copied it and pasted it. That I have done. But that was the first one that I decided to do it that way because it was a florist who was, you know, floundering and unable to compete. And so I scooped up their retail space on the cheap just so he could turn it into a jeweler to compete with Ingrid. Alright, let's not spend more money today. And the reason not is Monday is delivery day. That's when I got put out all the money for all the raw materials for all the manufacturing and my goods and all that. And this might be a shocker to you, but expensive gems, they're expensive. They're real freaking expensive. Alright, so Cecil has something to complain about. Okay. So all the alerts are cleared, so we're good. So what is Cecil's problem? The headhunter started to looking for a replacement for Cecil. It'll be 3 to 5 days. Okay, so Cecil is quitting, and we're just going to replace them. That's fine. And that's just all the deliveries are us waiting for more materials to come in. That's fine. Let's go ahead and take a little peek here. And check out, so apparel or else. Pricing. Okay, we are the cheapest, we are the cheapest. We're the cheapest across the board with all of that. Love to see it. We will want to go to gadgets or else. And we are cheaper than anything they've got. And we're going to go ahead and go to the gems or else. And we're the cheapest in all those too. Cool. Because that's all we're trying to do is we just want to make sure we are taking the screws to Ingrid here. So Ingrid is now competing on pricing. Yeah, so it looks like, okay, this will actually tell me what she's trying to undercut me on. So she's trying to undercut me specifically in clothes. Undercutting the market scene. Good morning. Yeah. So with that, we have knocked out about another 100,000 of her income. and we're just kind of pushing that down. So we look at her stuff here. Her main businesses are still the jewelry store. Ooh, okay. So apparently her graphic design is one of the next things that she's doing well with. I have office space available, and that is easy to set up. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we have a couple of different units here on the map that I grabbed because they were relatively expensive. So let's see, 25, 41, and that's 30, 50. All right, so we already have this place rented, and we are just going to go ahead and start a graphic design company. Graphics or else. And we're going to get that going. So the good news with that is the only thing I need for a graphics company is I just need to get the staff there. Now, before I go and build out that whole location, we're going to leave it alone for today, because as I mentioned, Monday is the big day where I have to restock everything. So I really want to make sure that for Monday I've got all the money set up, because the stock is getting ridiculously expensive. Let's also take a quick peek at our manufacturing places. Okay, so you ran out of ingredients, and you ran out of uncut cheap gems. And then meanwhile, you actually have plenty of expensive gems in stock. So that's one. So let's go to our purchasing agent down here. So uncut cheap gems. Let's bump that up to 8,000. Well, actually, let's just make it a cool 10,000. Okay, so put that order out there. And I can't afford to go up any higher on anything else. Alright, so go ahead and get that done. We'll get paid. And that's going to eat up $2 million of my money buying all our inventory back, or buying the materials for our inventory. Almost $3 million, actually. Okay. Let's change some of our stuff set up here. So you're set to produce continuously. And so we're going to produce up to a certain amount of stock. How high do I want to allow you to go? Produce up to 5,000. I'm hoping that's produce up to 5,000 in stock. That's what I'm hoping, is I'll keep 5,000 in stock as that. But right now, we'll just let them produce continuously. Eventually, I'll just gum up everything. And if we do get that backlog on it, then what I'll plan to do is just expand the operation kind of thing. Alright. So, I would love to set up a new office, but we got taken for $2.4 million is what it took to like fully restock my inventory, which we're making way more than that per week and all that. But it is unfortunate that we're doing all that stuff. So you're still underpricing us, which is fine. It looks like she's not going to change her price. She's just undercut our prices, and she's just going to stay that way. But she's not going to do anything special. Yeah, and her prices are continuing to drop. A nice slow decline. Love to see it. Because, yeah, so our graphic design is showing up. The jewelry store is getting knocked down. Communication hut is getting knocked down. Okay, so let's just go ahead and advance the day again. And we'll just do this. Oh, so good morning, Sven. It's good to have you. Alright, we have one less thing complaining about the logistics. Yes, we're just missing expensive jewelry. And then most of the electronics are missing, unfortunately. But the catch is, setting up an office. Let's see real fast. So you, which one do we get? Oh yeah, you. So you have all of that. The office space here has always still been the one that's been hard to figure out. So let me go ahead and I'm going to do the lazy route. Let's just see with the blueprint setting up, because I'm curious what others have done. So you are a D2 graphic design place. So one of the cool things you can do here is you can go, okay, I have an office. It is a D2 size, and we are doing graphic design. And it will show all the stuff here. We can go, okay, well, which one's the most popular, the highest rated? So you can go here, and you've got this like really, really fancy look at here. I wish they gave us more information. So there's 15 workstations, 10 workstations, 10 workstations, 12 workstations. I suspect 10 workstations is all it needs to fully function, where people have mashed them in there. So what we'll go ahead and do is see how this lands. As an interior score of 100,000, we're going to add that to our library. And so what that means now is what I can do is I can go and grab the phone, and need to go here. Do we have the interior installation for firms? Yes, we do. Well, I can call them and go, hey, graphics or else, I want you to install it. And if you go ahead and do this one over here, and it's going to charge me a premium. They're going to be charging a pretty significant upsell for the cost. Almost double, actually a little over double what it's going to cost me to do it myself. But I just hit that button and I say okay. And then I just go about my day doing this. And then before I forget, I'm going to go to my headhunters here. So you are going to be looking for graphic designers. And I don't want anyone who's got complicated nonsense going on. No part-timers. Only people who are full-time who just are willing to work a normal week. We'll start recruiting them. Now go to our headhunters here. And I'm going to switch you to grabbing an HR manager, because I'm probably about to do that. We're going to get a fresh one who's got no idea how to do their job. I'm going to start recruiting those as well. All right. And we can go ahead and do this. Just a little exercise. And then go to sleep. And then overnight, they completely refit the entire office. And that's what that message is that the entire office is built out. So you can eat some food. Okay. So, let's go ahead and... I don't like doing my own homework. That sounds like effort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up graphic designs. And this is Ingrid's graphic design place. So Ingrid runs her graphic design place from 11 to 7, 4 days a week, and the last one has a shorter shift. So we're going to ignore all of her own research on this. And we're just going to go to our graphic design place just up the road. And we're going to go to our schedule. You know what? It's interesting. We'll make it a 7 day a week operation. Well, all right, let's go ahead and get our schedule set up here. We're going to have extended hours. We're just going to directly compete with her. So we got all that set up. Also, I also almost forgot. Oh, you could change the business there. That's kind of scary. So what I need to do is I need to go to the gem place. Because I need to... I don't have a uniform locker in there. It's fine. All right. So let's go to our potential hires. So first, I want one of those HR people. Grab you. You are hired. And then second, let's grab some graphic designers. I'm not sure how many I need. 8, 9, 10. And we'll hire and assign them to graphics or else. And we'll see how that does. And it looks like that was an old blueprint and didn't cover all the needs I have. We still got to get 2 bathroom stalls and 2 sinks. Because of course. Let's go ahead and call that over real quick. Then go to you. Essential appliances, call you. I have to wait 1 minute before I can do that. Let's look back at our schedule here. All right. So schedule's got gaps in it. Only a little bit, though. It looks like I might just be looking at 1 more graphic designer is probably enough to cover the whole time. We're also going to grab a cleaning person that's full-time. But not for that location. We can hire you over there. I'll probably need a second cleaning person, honestly. That's a part-timer. You know what? Honestly, I could probably work with a part-timer. Graphics or else. Hire you. And a graphic designer. Hire you. We can go here and go to graphics or else. Schedule. Automatically set the schedule. Yeah, so the blueprint I grabbed is missing 1 or 2 things. Most likely it's out of date. That's actually one of the things they've got for their next major update they want to do, is they do want to kind of start filtering through those blueprints and being like, here's blueprints people have made that are out of date, that don't have functionality, that schedule is not optimal. Okay, so it looks like I actually still need another graphic designer. So I just go here, candidates, graphic designer, hire, go back here. That's the wrong store. Schedule. Okay, because we're just trying to tweak this schedule so everyone's got their shift and everything. One strategy some people use is they'll keep offices that don't have anything going on but have a bunch of desks, and they will just chuck employees there to train them until they're ready to open the next business. Because as you probably noticed, you'll eventually... Oh, you're mad that you don't... that you're not full-time. Okay. Let's open Saturday then as well, if that's what it takes to get the schedule to be happy. Because I'm getting warnings about people not being full-time and a whole bunch of stuff like that. It's like, but then why did you have big gaps in your schedule? Oh, did we hire people that it's got all sorts of weird things like, oh, you know, no mornings, no evenings, because we should be filtering all those. Because that wants me to have a little bit more time on the shift. It could also be that I extend the hours in the front. Hey, you know what? Honestly, all things considered, I'd live with that. It's not a great schedule. Oh, actually, take that back. Take that back off of there. I will open an hour earlier. That's what we'll do. Okay. Because I'm just trying to get it so people are content with being full-time and all that. We're just having a weird juggle here where they weren't happy before, and now we're dealing with that. So we're gonna have extended hours. It's probably not the greatest move for the finances, but we'll get that. Okay. Extended the hours by 1, and now suddenly I've got a whole day empty. I don't I don't really understand what's going on here, why I'm having such difficulty with this. Alright, well, let's bring in, I guess, another graphic designer, because we got a whole bunch of empty schedule here. Okay, and hire you. Scheduling is hard. A lot of times it goes a lot smoother than this. I don't know why this one's fighting me so much. Okay. So I think this looks good. We got the tiniest gap on these days. Everyone's looking at around, actually, there is, well, so that's one of the things, like, why do we have some people that are so low in hours? Yeah, because, like, you, if we do that, you get unhappy. Do you have weird stuff going on? Yes, they just want graphic tablets. Who is one of her people? So you don't, so Doris there doesn't have that much in hours. So Clark's got a couple too many hours. Yeah, so everyone who can fit in that shift already has too many hours. And weirdly, it likes to organize it like that. Yes, you're at 50. You're at 44. So you can go here. We'll fix you up. This is all really weird that it's being this way. Okay, fill up that day. You're fine. Fill up this day. You're fine. Okay, so we've got people here who have all sorts of not reasonable hours. Okay, so you're at 56. So I can pull you off of there. Put you in here. And do that. We can grab you. You need more hours. We can grab... Okay, so there's no one here who can be accommodated with the hours. Because Thomas is already working that. And grab you to put in that spot. Grab you out. Drop you into this spot. Alright. You can go in that spot. Oh, you already have like a later shift. There you go. Yeah, so it seems like for whatever reason this thing got all confused on what to even do with itself. And we're just cleaning it up now. Alright, so you've got enough that we could put Priscilla in there. So that's all fine, that's all fine, you're all fine. Okay. Oh, we could drop you in, you in, and you in. And there. Everyone's schedules are fine. I don't know why the game itself really struggled with that. But, like, it was very much a doable thing. I think I need to just, like, empty the schedule out and restart it. But that's fine. Everyone's got their schedule in there, so let's get this all done. But yeah, normally you used to have to do that, and normally I don't have a problem. I just hit the autofill, and it just fills it. And we're just done. So what I need to do now is we need to wait till Appliance Essential opens here in just about 40 seconds. And I need to send 2 sinks and 2 or 3 toilets over to that new office, and then go over there and put them there. Who are you and why do you not have a spot? Oh, okay, right. Yeah, so go here to our new HR person, schedule, go ahead and take a spot. HR, add a new plan, there's our new person, train people up to their max. For the moment, fill all that in, fill all that in, cool. And that means they're getting trained, and it's going to be a little while until they can do anything because they're terrible at their job. But it does mean we're getting another HR person for when we need to bring in a bunch more employees. I'm trying to think of what I want to stream tomorrow, because I definitely feel like with big ambitions, we're starting to kind of wind down. Like, we're hammering it out on one of our rivals, which is very satisfying, by the way. And I'd love to see that through. But I am a little worried we're getting to that stage where it'll start to become more and more spreadsheet simulator. And a lot more fast forwarding. We're already getting pretty heavy on that. Timberborn's a possibility. Okay, so let's go here. So graphics or else, deliver today at 2. I need 3 toilets and 2 sinks. There's the 2 sinks. Oh, too many. There's the 3 toilets. Alright. So go and get that. Good time. That said, low-key, I'm tempted off-stream to just make a backup of this save. And then just play it out and get achievements kind of thing. Some of the achievements in this game are super grindy, though. Unfortunately. Now, I'm a little worried I'm going to go in here, and what is the bathroom? I don't... Where is the speaker? There we go. Yeah, so you can see this is what the floor plan used to be, and then they added this extra area here. And that's why my blueprint was all scuffed. The other interesting thing is I don't actually see where they deliver the pallets with this blueprint. So I'm genuinely curious how that's about to work. Yeah, because this is an old blueprint from before they added the need for restrooms and all that. Okay, so we got 2 minutes here. This place is so packed in tight. And where did they put that? It's a required thing to have the boxes show up. So I'm curious what happens here in 2 minutes. Because what happens, there's like a little grid. I'm expecting to see it back here, but then it's just not present. Yeah, because I'd almost expect it back there. But I don't think it's a thing you can force to appear and all. Oh, I forgot there is the toggle walls. I knew I saw that somewhere, and I couldn't find it earlier. Well, let's just see what happens. Game crash. This whole place is like really cramped. Nice looking place. Does it actually have an interior? So yeah, it also, the interior score is wrong because it's out of date. So let's go ahead and get the interior score fixed. So you can go over here. The bathroom will have a marble floor. Black marble floor in there, even though there's nothing going on. We can go ahead and go to you. Well, they get like a weird trim thing in the corners. That's fine. We can go up here. All right, so it's not quite 100% still. I'm just going to put like right under this desk here a little bit more marble. Just fine. This whole up front area is marble. Still not enough. We can go to our wallpaper here. I really dislike with this game that it's the price of the paint that determines that score. So you do end up with this whole situation. Let's show these walls. So you do end up with a situation like this where I just have to choose one of the more, like, the nicer walls and all that. Alright, so we got about 40 seconds. And then whatever's going to happen with this set of boxes is going to happen. I'm curious if it'll just spawn in the thing that they all go into, like it'll just find a spot for it, if the game will just straight up crash. If we'll just get a thing as like couldn't deliver. I'm curious how it actually goes. Or it could be that it's here somewhere and just with all the clutter I'm just not seeing it, which is very possible. It could be that the people who made this deliberately tried to hide it, since it looks, it looks weird for like an office space. So 10 more seconds. Because it should be in this room, is where it defaults, and then you can move it around. Okay, I don't know if it's there the whole time, but certainly appeared there. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, so clearly this was made before they made bathrooms an actual requirement to the game. Alright, with this, you are now open. Okay, so let's go ahead, and now that we've got our graphic design place open, we can go to graphics or else, marketing, do this. I don't know which ones we're going to need, so let's go ahead and choose graphics or else. We'll start with a small billboard, and just see how that does with our graphic place. Yeah, so I shouldn't need another billboard. If we turn around and then, use a large internet campaign, the two of those together might be enough. Yeah, that's 100%. Perfect. So with that, we want to go to the pricing. So we currently have the lowest pricing in the area. So with that, if we check on Ingrid again, we check on her main money makers. So we are now competing with her jewelry store, her graphics design place, and her electronics store. So the next biggest thing would be her bookstore. I'm not ready to take that on, but let's go ahead and let a day or two go by and see how much this collapses her overall everything. Well, let's also make sure, before I forget, do we actually have them under HR yet? Yeah, we already got our people under HR to start training. We can also call real quick on the health insurance for our brand new person, because we'll need them doing all health insurance. It'll take a while till they can get the good health insurance. They're going to be using rubbish health insurance to start with, but we'll get there. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and slam out 5 hours of video games real fast. We successfully opened a web design place, and then we'll follow it up with an hour of kettleball. Then we'll go to bed. Okay. So we made $500,000 yesterday. Yeah, and a lot of this is I'd probably just need to increase the capacity of my manufacturing. It's fine. Like, while they're complaining, I'm not seeing any of these come up saying, oh no, the store is out of merchandise. So all in all, it seems to be doing fine. Yeah, so graphics or else right now is not doing great because our customer service is 6%. So we're freaking terrible at our job. But what I'm hoping to see is over the next couple of days, is if we check on arrivals and we check Ingrid, that we're just going to go ahead and continue to see. Yeah, that graphic design store starting, it's already dropped off about another 10, 20,000, which is slowly tearing Ingrid down. That's working pretty good. Now, one of the other things is Ingrid does own a bunch of buildings, so is making money off of those. I'm trying to remember what it costs to buy some of these buildings. So if we look at the building right next to us, this building is not for sale. Its estimated valuation is 1.6 million. Let's see if we can go ahead and get some get a building or two underneath us. All right, we got people got replaced. Let's eat something really fast and checking what all happened. So we've got these delivery things that are getting sorted. So the insurance I will just accept without any further consideration. And then that headhunter replace someone. What I've always been curious is when that happens, do I have to reassign them? I do not. So when they get replaced, they just get sorted out. So let's go ahead, and I need to get to Monday again. That way we know we've got all of our deliveries and all that sorted out. And 600,000. So you notice each time we're getting one of these businesses open, we're creeping up like an extra 50, 100,000 or so. And then rather than eat, we're going to have a diet of going back to sleep. Because if we're not awake, we can't be hungry. It's definitely sustainable and not horrific for one's health to try and do that. All right, and then we get to Monday. And that's going to take like the $2-something million out of us for all of the manufactured materials and all that. And then let's see what we have left. Okay. I have only 500,000. So we're making a killing money-wise. But it is a thing that... Okay. Interesting. Let's take a peek here. At our businesses here, because it looks like I might just be getting too much stuff in here. Let's go to manufacture or else. We've got tons of supplies here. But we keep having it where it's trying to deliver and it's overflowing. So let's go here to our purchasing agent. As soon as I can remember where they are. There we go. Our purchasing agent. Wrong place. Our purchasing agent, go to you. We're going to cancel that order for a minute. We're going to do fabric expensive, and we're going to cut that down to, let's say, 80,000. And put that back in. So that hopefully it stops complaining about not having room to do that. And then the other one I was complaining about has been mostly just the smart devices, which we're doing our best. They just need to train more. An incomplete delivery, not enough inventory at manufacturer or else for cheap classic clothing for both of them. Which is probably everything getting jammed up because of the fabric. Alright, that's fine. So we've got all you scheduled. Unfortunately, that's probably not enough to buy any buildings. Because we've got you next door. Let's go ahead and switch some of the stuff over. So let's switch you from showing any of the subway stations. Oh, you can see the ones rented by Ingrid. What I was curious about... Alright, so we can close that. We can look at the economy view. There was somewhere in here... Yeah, real estate. So only show buildings for sale. Yeah, so there's lots of real estate buildings. These are way outside my budget. It's interesting that a lot of these are saying, oh, you know what? The other one is going to be buying the business. So the cheapest building on here is 1.6 million. All right. I kind of, let's see. Was it your law firm? Yeah, my law firms have been steadily losing money ever since the very beginning. It has not changed. Let's actually look at our law firm here. So if we check on our inventory pricing, we do have the cheapest. Yeah, the lowest in the market is still 225. So we've matched the lowest. I can't really go higher. It's not going to work out for me, unfortunately. So I'm just kind of eating that. It's fine. Meanwhile, Ingrid here is starting to level out. She's at just barely over $1 million. But we're just knocking everything down. That her bookstore is now becoming her third most successful business. And a big part of our limitation here is Communication Hut. Her place just has a higher foot traffic than mine. So we are able to take a bunch out of her, but realistically I'll need more. But the issue I'm running into right now is just the fact that we are putting so much of our resources into manufacturing. And I believe what's happening right now is we're having a surplus that I need to figure out logistically how I can approach that without having problems. Yeah, because you're only short on the electronics. Let's see, manufacture or else. And you've got the supplies going into producing these things. Just fine. Why? It's been a while since you played, but when the factories came out, it was not worth it. Yeah, they've massively improved the factories because now you physically can't get certain inventory without them. Yeah, so we're shipping those out. And we're slowly working through all of that. So that's good news. And you can just choose to sell everything if you get to a point where you don't want to deal with it. Yeah, so I think I just have way too much tied up here. In stock, I have almost 30,000 of all of the expensive stuff. So there's our problem. So what I want to do here is let's go here and say you're limited to production. Don't have more than 10,000 of these on the shelf. Interestingly, it looks like it caps out at 1,000. If I set it higher and then I go back, it drops it down to 1,000. But you know, you did import fabric cheap. Isn't that part of the complaint? The cheap clothes? Yes. So the cheap clothes are being imported directly to the delivery place, but the manufacturing, I'm not bothering to manufacture the cheap clothes. So what we're doing here is let's go ahead and check out our one. So that one, manufacturer else. So 1,000. Oh, well, no, that's 1,000 runs. So the problem I'm trying to run here is I'm trying to have it produce up to an amount and then shut down the production. Because right now I have 30,000 and that's just too much. So I think what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to turn those all back on. And that's fine. That's the issue I'm running into right now, is how I can manage this part. Because according to the inventory here, I have in stock about 30,000 of each of those expensive things, which is too much. Try 999? Yeah, we can try that. Well, actually, 5,000 would be fine as well. Okay, 5,000's fine. All right. So only keep about 5,000 of those in stock. And then I'd rather the factory workers just stand there and look pretty. Cool. So with that, we can advance... well, actually, so that's the first one done. So gem cutters here, go here. Well, actually, inventory. So we're sitting on about... yeah, it's actually... let's just go to all of these and do that. So 5,000, 5,000. That's fine. And let's go to our other businesses. We should have RAM or else. 5,000. 5,000. 5,000. That way, hopefully what'll happen here is once you got the inventory there, it'll stop doing stuff. Yeah, because you got some in stock of a bunch of things. Like, yeah, these headsets and all that were about to max out the stock. Wait, are you not importing those? Hold up. You shouldn't have that much there. All right, let's double check to make sure we're actually delivering those to the electronics store. So let's go to our logistics people here. Yes, that's gadgets or else. We do have it set to delivery. That's fine. They've got the warehouse stock. It's fine. We're just not selling that many, I don't think. All right, let's go ahead and fast forward again. So I still got some logistics complaints. But that's also one. Okay, so you're complaining that you're just going to retire. That's fine. And you're saying incomplete delivery. Okay, so that's saying from manufacturing, not enough inventory at manufacturing. Okay, so that's what we need to do here. You are correct, as I have an incorrect order there. So that's actually here, there. Manufacturer or else. You are not doing cheap clothing at all. We're not making it. You're not getting rid of it. I don't know how those got added on there, but that'll fix that. Let's go ahead and fast forward now and see if all the alerts go away. Well, yeah, no, manufacturing's definitely worth it now. They've streamlined a lot of it. The problem we're running into with the manufacturing right now is I was just producing way more than I needed. Okay, we didn't get any alerts. Everything just went fine. Alright, meanwhile, let's take a little peek here. So, gadgets, or else. Let's see if you... Have we been underpriced? No. We are the lowest prices. Let's check on apparel or else. We are still the lowest price in everything there. And then we can go here, and we have the graphics or else. We're the lowest price there. I think that's everything we're competing on, right? Okay, so let's check Ingrid, how she's doing. Yeah, so Ingrid is just barely hanging over 1 million. So we've got a bunch of stuff here that's doing terribly. Oh, man. To say we have wrecked her graphic design was her third most profitable place. It's her second least profitable place now. So we've definitely taken that out of her. So the next thing we'd want to compete with is going after her bookstore and then potentially her liquor store. That'd be the next place that she's vulnerable. Her Just Jeans, both of those were at 120,000. We've knocked them down to collectively between the both of them are less than 100,000. All right. But yeah, so the idea is we keep knocking this out, and what should happen is over time she'll start parting with more resources, all that kind of stuff. One thing that definitely feels like an interesting place we could start messing with is the real estate once we start getting an abundance of money. So it only shows places that are for sale, but you get the idea is it's a copious amount of money to get those places to buy the buildings. And it's just a hard one there. Yeah, so you can actually look here as well and see what's been opening and closing. Yeah, so those are other competitors here. I want to see if we could see where Ingrid's closed anything or whatever. Yeah, we're just seeing a bunch of places opening and closing here. It actually looks like the neutral bystanders are the ones really suffering. We've got Tom Burton is just closing one place after the other. Is Tom Burton on here? Yeah, so Tom Burton here was making a bunch more money, but has just been closing one place after the other. And it is those things, like, if you wipe these ones out, I don't believe anything meaningful happens. Oh, it's actually saying that Tom Burton is supposedly primarily in Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, versus Marshall here is supposed to be also here in, Garment. See, we have another one here in Garment District that we can see. No, it's literally Ingrid. Oh, Ingrid is no longer underpricing us on the clothing. That said, I'm going to keep the prices down and just keep trampling her clothing business. Anyways, with that said, though, chat, it is going to be about that time. So I'm going to go ahead and save here. And we're going to be wrapping up for the night. I don't know when I'm streaming tomorrow. I do know I'll be streaming from 7 p.m. EST or after. I'm just not 100% sure on what exactly I'm going to end up streaming. But with that said, I do hope I'll see you there. We'll figure it out when we get there, whether it's like Timberborn. Probably not more big ambitions. We'll probably be starting to wrap this down, because now we're at that stage of just opening a business and watching a line go down and repeating. And I feel like that's going to lose interest. But there's been a lot of stuff coming out. We'll figure it out where we get there. Plenty of options and all that stuff. But with that said, if you're watching over on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. But the stream will be ending on the YouTube side, so thanks so much for tuning in over there. For everyone over here on Twitch, if you have enjoyed tonight's content, you're not already following the channel, don't forget to drop a follow.